back to my channel. I am back with another Baddies Africa review, so let's just get right into what happened in this episode. So this episode picks up where the last one left off, where the baddies are leaving that ninja place right after Fauna ended up getting her baddies chain. I said in last week's episode that I didn't think that Fauna should have gotten the second baddies chain. I think it should have went to somebody else. I'm not saying that I don't like Fauna, but I just feel like she falls into the background a lot. Like, I don't remember that she's there until she gets into a fight with either Lex, Dolly, or Summer. I just feel like she doesn't really have a presence about her. Like, her presence doesn't stand out when she's in the room, other than the fact that she's a really pretty girl. Other than that, I just don't feel like she should have gotten that baddies chain. Not the second one, at least. But as all the baddies are leaving the ninja place, all of a sudden Summer starts basically calling out Russian Cream, telling her that she talks a lot of shit, but when it comes time to fight, she's standing in the background not fighting, and she feels like she needs to start getting in the paint. And look, I understand where Summer is coming from, but at the same time, I feel like maybe Dolly and Summer only are being nice to Russian Cream just a little bit because they know that Lex kind of likes her a little bit, because it seems like Dolly and Summer are not really feeling Russian Cream. I mean, Dolly basically has been making it known that she's not really feeling Russian Cream, and maybe it's because, you know, Russian made that video with some of the other girls calling them ugly. Maybe that's the reason why she feels some type of way about her, and maybe she feels like she's only trying to be their friend because of the fact that the other girls don't like her. I really don't know, but it's definitely clear to me that Summer and Dolly are not really feeling Russian Cream. Now, the girls are all on the sprinters, and they're separated into two separate sprinters. All the other girls that don't like the big three are on one sprinter, and then the big three, Elsie, Choco, and Russian Cream, are on one sprinter together. And they start talking about how Dolly hasn't gotten her baddies chain yet, and Rolly starts telling some of the girls that she feels like Natalie is purposely not giving Dolly a baddies chain because Dolly upset Natalie when she snatched off Tavy's chain and wouldn't give it back, and it caused all that chaos for a while. And I can understand that, because snatching somebody's chain does give hater. I don't think that it was necessary for Dolly to snatch Tavy's chain. She should have just let the girl wear the damn chain. But Rolly was definitely lying on this sprinter to the new girls when Fauna said that she was not going to wear her baddies chain to the club because she didn't want it to get snatched off. Rolly tried to say that this is the first season that chains have been getting snatched, and I believe that's a lie, because in past seasons, chains have definitely got snatched, okay? The only reason why they started giving away baddies chains in the first place is because of the whole Mariah Lynn and Smiley situation with them snatching each other's chains. Had that situation never came about and been the whole basis for that entire season, I don't think the baddies chains would have even been a thing. And last season, chains were definitely snatched off. I mean, Scotty never gave Summer her chain. She put it on her dog. And then I believe Summer tried to snatch Jasmine's chain. And then I do believe that another situation happened with the chain. Like, not a chain getting snatched, but I do remember Ivori saying that if Scotty gave the baddies chain to Lex, she was going to snatch it off her neck. So the chains have been getting snatched off, not just this season. But this is why Rolly was kind of getting on my nerves in this episode, because she's always speaking on things that she doesn't know the full story about, because they were on the sprinters on their way to get ready to go to the club, and she started saying that it was weird that Choco wanted to fight Diamond at the ninja place over that room situation, and that wasn't the reason why Choco tried to fight Diamond at the ninja place. The reason why she tried to fight Diamond at the ninja place is because Diamond came out of nowhere and snuck her like she did the first time the two of them got into it. So I don't understand why Rolly is always speaking on things that she doesn't know about. That's the reason why Russian Cream and Rolly had that back and forth in the first place, because Rolly was speaking on a situation that she didn't know about, and Russian Cream was trying to clear it up and tell what really happened, and Rolly got pissed off about it. Rolly is always speaking on things that she doesn't know about. And what's up with these girls caring about who Lex is friends with? Because on the sprinter on the way to the club, Rolly started saying that she doesn't feel like Lex agrees with the things that Summer and Dolly do, but because she's friends with them, she stands by them anyway. And that's what most of the girls on this show do. Like, I'm pretty sure they don't agree with a lot of the things that their friends do on the show, but they still stand by them anyway. So I think it's weird that everybody jumps down Lex's throat over who she's friends with. I mean, why aren't the other girls being held accountable for the things that their friends do on the show too? All of them are guilty of doing something that people don't agree with and that people think is wrong. So why is Lex the only person that everybody jumps down their throat about? But on the other sprinter, Lex starts asking Choco if she wants to fight Diamond again, and Choco said that she's definitely fighting Diamond again because Diamond snuck her, and that's what Diamond keeps doing to her. And then Lex told Elsie that, you know, Choco needs people that can actually fight behind her when she's fighting these girls, because Elsie can't fight, and Elsie kind of just stands there while Choco is getting into fights. So I can understand where Lex is coming from with that. I do feel bad for Elsie though, because people are always constantly pointing out the fact that she can't fight, and it's like, she definitely can't fight, but she does get out there even if she can't fight. Now, before the baddies end up leaving the house to go to a club booking, basically Ivori starts calling out Dolly, asking her not to sneak her when they go to the club. She was trying to be funny and come at Dolly because obviously she's claiming that Dolly snuck her in the club. I personally don't think that Dolly snuck her in the club because she was facing Dolly when Dolly swung on her. Dolly smacked her hand down the first time that Ivori grabbed her by the neck, basically giving her a warning to stop grabbing me by the neck. And when Ivori grabbed her by the neck again, that's when Dolly swung on her. So to me, that was not a sneak. Ivori does end up questioning Dolly as to why she was acting some type of way towards her at the club in the first place, and Dolly said that it was because of Ivori's energy towards her. She said that Ivori was coaching Tavy on how to fight her, so she didn't feel like she could trust her, and honestly, I agree with that. I don't agree with everything that Dolly does, but if we're supposed to be cool with each other, or at least cordial with each other, and you're teaching another girl how to fight me, we're not cool with each other. Don't grab me by my neck at the club and try to pretend like we're cool with each other, because at that point, I don't know what type of time you're on, so I can understand why Dolly felt the way that she did when it came to Ivori at the club. Ivori started saying that the reason why she was coaching Tavy is because she thought it was wrong that Dolly snatched her chain. And I will say it was wrong for Dolly to snatch Tavy's chain, but at the end of the day, I don't think that Ivori would have said anything if it was one of her friends that snatched one of the girls she don't like chains. So, because last season, Ivori was telling Scotty that if Scotty gave Lex a chain, she was going to snatch it off her neck. So, to me, she's not really against snatching off chains either. I just feel like they should not try to act cool with each other anymore. Ivori does not like Dolly, Summer, and Lex. They don't have to pretend to be cool with each other. They don't have to pretend to be cordial. It's very clear that Ivori does not like them. Dolly did say on the way to the club that she's fighting everybody that wants to fight her when her swelling goes down in her hand. I'm waiting to see if that actually ends up happening though, because Dolly gets injured way too easily every single season. Her hand is wrapped up because she's injured, and it seems like after every time she fights one round, there's something wrong with her hand. Everyone is having a good time at the club, dancing and having a good time, but Ivori seems to be annoyed. She's sitting there and she looks extremely mad in the club, and she ends up taking the microphone and she basically starts calling out Dolly on the microphone. And Natalie was trying to take the microphone away from Ivori because she didn't want to fight to break out at the club. I'm just confused with Ivori and some of the fans that want Dolly to keep fighting Ivori. I mean, how many times do they have to fight each other? I mean, last season, Ivori and Lex just fought the entire season. Ever since the first or second episode, they fought the entire time, even at the reunion. And now the same thing is happening between her and Dolly. I just want to know how many times the two of them have to fight. I mean, I'm not against seeing the two of them fight, but how many times do they have to do it? The next day, Pretty P packs up all of her things because obviously she has to go home to be with her family because her grandfather passed away. She did say that she didn't know if she was coming back, but we do know that she did end up returning because while it was filming, we saw that she did come back. Now, I'm not opposed to her leaving because it is important for her to be with her family, and I do feel for her in that moment. However, she has been very boring this season. Before this situation happened with her family, she was very boring, so I don't really think it was necessary for her to really be a part of this season because honestly, she hasn't been memorable at all. But the baddies end up arriving in Kenya, and while they're on their way to the baddies resort, all of a sudden, Ivori starts saying that her girlfriend got arrested and she might be going home, and that's when Diamond obviously feels some type of way because Pretty P left and went home because of her family situation, and now Ivori might leave too, and now she feels like she's going to be by herself. And I thought it was so funny when Tavy, Kold, Killa, Fauna, and K-Rican were telling Diamond that they'll be there for her and have her back when, you know, Ivori leaves just like Pretty P did. And I thought it was funny because you can tell that Diamond didn't want them to have her back. I feel like she doesn't really like them. I feel like she's only cool with them by default. Like, it seems like everybody who grouped up together only grouped up together because they don't like Dolly, Summer, and Lex. It's like everybody had to form the, you know, Avengers to go against Dolly, Summer, and Lex. So I just feel like that's the only reason why all of them are cool with each other. Otherwise, I don't think that they would be cool because honestly, if Dolly, Summer, and Lex weren't a part of this season, they would all have to fight and turn on each other because the season would have been boring. They finally end up arriving in Kenya where they have the resort completely to themselves, and Natalie, Rolly, and Diamond were looking at the animals because there were monkeys in the trees, and all of a sudden a monkey comes running down from the tree and Natalie, Diamond, and Rolly start screaming and running. I thought this was a cute, funny, lighthearted part of the episode because we know there's a lot of drama and fighting, so we need something in between that can make us laugh, and this definitely was it for me. Natalie ends up getting all the baddies together by the fire so that they can sit outside and play Baddie Baddie Shot O. And I thought it was really funny when Summer came outside and Natalie was sitting next to Scotty, and Summer tries to go up to Natalie and give her a hug, and Natalie kind of pushes her back a little bit and she starts laughing, telling Summer that she doesn't trust her anymore because we know that last season when they were in Hawaii, Summer tried to use the fact that she was going to give Natalie a hug as an excuse to sneak Scotty, and so Natalie did not want that situation to play out again, so that's the reason why she was kind of shooing Summer away. I thought that was definitely funny because you can tell that Natalie has definitely learned her lesson. But they start playing Baddie Baddie Shot O, and here's where things get really messy because these questions were extremely messy and full of drama. Like, literally the first question stirred up some drama. I'm sorry, I know people don't like Summer, but she's hilarious to me sometimes because the first question was, have you ever slept with your friend's man before or after they were together? And Summer starts laughing and she points out Marissa and Kold Killa because she knows that Marissa is sleeping with Kold Killa's baby daddy. And obviously there's a lot of drama going on between the two of them on social media recently about the situation. So I thought that was funny and messy that, you know, Summer pointed that out. Then there was a roast session between K Rican and Summer because we know they have the biggest mouth and they're going back and forth with each other. I will say K Rican won, but I don't like that she was calling Summer a monkey because this is not the first time that she called somebody a monkey on the show. She called Elsie a baboon earlier this season, and I just don't like that she throws that stuff out there too often now. Like, she probably didn't mean it that way. I just don't like when people call people monkeys, so I just didn't really like that she said that. Then Dolly was asked who her least favorite baddie was, and she said Kold Killa was her least favorite, and that's when Kold Killa starts bringing up the fact that Dolly still doesn't have a baddies chain. I think it's pointless to throw out there that Dolly doesn't have a baddies chain because we know that Natalie's probably going to bring her back for another season. So really the baddies chains don't really mean anything because she didn't get one last season and they still brought her back anyway. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't feel like the baddies chains mean much because they give them out like candy every single season, so to me they don't really have any meaning behind them. But Rolly ends up answering the question, and she said that her least favorite baddie was Elsie, even though she knew a lot of people were going to say that it was Russian Cream. And when she explained why she doesn't really like Elsie, she said it was because Elsie was a flip-flopper. And I'm confused on what Rolly is talking about because that's how you know that Rolly doesn't really spend time with these girls, because she's basically trying to say that Elsie is a flip-flopper because she didn't have Tavy's back when Tavy was fighting. But why would Elsie have Tavy's back when Tavy was trying to befriend those same girls that fought Elsie? And then she popped Elsie right in her face and was talking to her all types of crazy. I personally feel like Tavy is the flip-flopper because at first she was trying to be cool with Elsie and have her back and fight the other girls, and then as soon as she got into it with Elsie, after she started it with Elsie because she's the one that hit Elsie in the face first and was talking to her crazy, then she tried to befriend the other girls like Fauna and Kold Killa and K Rican, and then she tried to be cool with Lex, Dolly, and Summer, and when they wasn't really feeling her that much, then she ran over there and tried to be friends with Diamond and them after she also fought Diamond in the first episode. So to me, I feel like Tavy's the flip-flopper, not Elsie. Natalie ends up asking Lex who her least favorite baddie is, and basically she said Fauna, Kold Killa, K Rican, and she also said Scotty and Tavy are her least favorites too. And I didn't understand why Scotty and Tavy were so upset about Lex saying they wasn't her favorites, because obviously they wouldn't be her favorites when these are two people that she's fought. Like, she's fought Tavy a couple of times and then she also fought Scotty, so of course they wouldn't be her favorite. So I was confused as to why they were so upset about that. I don't think any of the girls should have taken it personal when the girls were saying who their least favorites were, because none of them were surprising in my opinion. These are people that have been beefing with each other the entire season so far, so it's not surprising. When Lex was asked why she doesn't like Scotty and Tavy, she said that they talk too much, and Scotty got upset and said that the only reason why she says anything to or about Lex is because Lex brings up her name first, and then she mentions Lex bringing up her name at the ninja place, even though Lex was not the person who brought up Scotty's name. It was actually Diamond that brought her up, but Scotty decided that she was going to yell at Lex because she doesn't have any beef with Diamond. When Scotty was asked who her least favorites were, she said Lex because Lex named her as her least favorite, and then she said that Dolly is her least favorite because Dolly has been doing too much. And look, I feel like, Dolly was taken aback by Scotty saying that she didn't like her because she thought that they were cool. Like, even in the first episode, I think it was either the first or the second episode of the season, when Scotty and Lex were fighting in the first couple of episodes, Dolly said that they're two pretty bitches that need to just get along with each other. And I don't feel like Dolly had any issues with Scotty despite the fact that Lex didn't like her. So it seemed like she was shocked that Scotty named her as her least favorite. I wasn't surprised that Scotty named Dolly as her least favorite because when Ivori was looking for Dolly after they got into that fight and Dolly ran into the kitchen, Scotty told Ivori that Dolly ran in the house probably to steal because she's a thief, and that's what she said about Dolly. So I wasn't surprised that she said that Dolly was her least favorite. But that's why I don't understand why people are always making it seem like Scotty's just this innocent person that never says anything. She makes a lot of slick comments and a lot of the fans just ignore it because they like Scotty and they know she's not a fighter, but she does make slick comments about people. And yeah, of course, everybody on the show makes slick comments, but Scotty will make a slick comment and then pretend to be surprised when she gets called out on it. And it seems like she thinks that she shouldn't be allowed to be called out because she's sleeping with the guy who runs the network, but that doesn't mean that she shouldn't be called out. If you're going to be on this show and you're going to, put your 2 cents in people's business, then you have to expect that you're going to get checked sometimes. Scotty and Lex are going back and forth with each other, and Kold Killa stands up next to Scotty, so Summer ends up standing up next to Lex, and all of a sudden, Summer and Kold Killa just start swinging on each other. They start fighting, and then the episode cuts there. We did see a preview for next week's episode, and a lot of y'all were overdoing this fight between Lex and Scotty. I don't even feel like it was a fight because it lasted 2 seconds. They start swinging on each other a couple of times, and then Scotty throws a kick. Lex catches her foot, and Scotty's shoe comes off and the fight ends there. To me, it wasn't really a fight. People are saying Scotty did her big one, but to me, this wasn't even a fight between the two of them. I will give Scotty props for getting in there with Lex and swinging, but to me, it didn't look like either one of them won that fight. But those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Baddies Africa. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video.